here. Jason's here. Our yakking.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're getting ready to audition for? Do you know with Matthew McConaughey and
Woody Harrelson?
And Woody Harrelson. So what is that?
It's a weird. I'm not 100% sure what the show is.
I don't think they probably don't know.
I mean, that's what's fun about it. The good thing that happened, and this is what happens when you audition for certain people, is they go on the second take. Just improvise if you want a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's where I get to show my skills.
Yes.
And especially as a stand-up, I get to sort of come in there and go, I'm going to improvise something I've written a little bit, too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write a tag to this that you're going to enjoy.
Nice. Nice.
That's what, it's some of them are like, Apatow loves that.
Well, it's so cool now. The first time I had heard of that, was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And Richard Lewis was telling me that he goes, some of those scenes between me and Larry where we're like pissed at each other. He goes, we're really pissed at each other. We're really we're upset. Like we're really not happy with whatever they're talking about. He goes, but isn't it cool, to be able to have the trust? Yeah. I guess a lot of directors realize when you have a really good artist there that's a quick thinker, you're probably going to get a lot of better stuff than you do out of a scripted situation.
Even if you have a great script. My belief is, because I've done some short stuff that I've written, even if you have a great script, if somebody throws something natural to them into it, you're getting an extra dimension.
Yes.
Because you're getting they're not saying your words, they're saying really their words. And if that anchors them in that scene, you're getting 10 times the production.
Well, right. They're in the moment, they're feeling the moment. They know what the character is, they know what the scene is, they know what the other characters is, and they go, I know what I'd say if I were that guy in this situation.
Yeah, it's the best.
Well, when I was blessed that when I got in the theater department at the University of Memphis, which was Memphis State back then in the 70s, they just had a really cool faculty there that were into new playwrights.
Oh, that's great.
And they were bringing in, the very first play I did was this thing called Back County Crimes by a guy named Laney Robertson. And basically it's a demented Our Town.
Yeah.
It's the small...
I'm sold,
correct.
By the way. I am 100%.
It's the small town, but everything's not...
It's like if Our Town was set in Grand Theft Auto.
Correct. Everything's not what it seems to be. I love it.
And,
and so within that, and so I was able to be in several productions where the playwright, about halfway into, about 2 weeks into rehearsals, comes in and is there, and they're like... We would stick to the script, but then in notes afterwards, that's when we would go, I just feel like that I wouldn't respond that way in that situation. Well, how would you? What do you think? Well, I think so. It was the same thing, but they didn't allow you. They didn't go, okay, let's you. Well, we were college students, So
there's a lot of bad choices. You're in the midst of your bad choice phase.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, it was that same kind of
great,
thing.
Though. When somebody's collaborative like that, somebody who's got power.
Absolutely.
Enough to have written a script or something like that is collaborative, especially when you don't have power.
Right.
That's what I love. I mean, because I'm going and auditioning for this films. I've made a career off of doing commercials, and all of that's made up because those are ad guys writing that copy. They're like, you're funnier than I am. You add stuff.
Right.
And so I've been doing that for years, and it's my favorite way to perform.
Right.
Stand up where I've written everything, and commercials where I'm just making stuff up as I feel it.
Now, how often in your show do you improvise a little bit
in stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, I improvise. When something's going really well, I'll improvise riffs off of it. My belief is that I write everything originally. My first step is writing.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just an idea that I write, and I'll play with the idea, talking it out, so I can figure out what voice I want to approach it with.
Right.
But I write it, then I perform it, and then I rewrite it, and then I perform. So it's a lot of, and whenever it's going well, or if it goes, sometimes when it goes sideways, I'll riff on that and see where I can go from there.
Right.
But some of my best stuff has come from just reacting to what's going on.
Right.
I was just telling Bronwyn, I don't know if you heard that, but so I write these weekly recaps.
You were telling me.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going so well.
And it's going great. And I'm sort of poking fun at the power system, you know? Right. And so in doing that, I'm sitting there writing a little thing about the FBI director testifying in front of Congress, and all of a sudden she yells out to somebody, she's like, "Where's my petty cash?" And I'm like, "Petty cash?" And I wrote that, and I told her that joke got the most love. I got 100 people.
And that came out of the audience.
And that came out of me just hearing her yell that while I was writing in the green room.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So
she was in the box office.
She was in the box office talking to somebody. And I was just happened to be writing that, and I'm like, here we go. I'm like, you got to keep your ears open.
That's lovely.
Because I think that's the best part of doing comedy is you're like, I'm great at this. I'm legitimately talented enough to do this and make a living out of it and create new stuff. That's great. But if I start thinking that I'm the only voice and that I can't soak up stuff from other people, that's the great thing about being with my wife. She thinks about things night and day versus me.
Right.
And so first thing I'll do with a joke is I'll run it by her. If she likes it and I like it, it will hit everywhere.
I'm exactly the opposite.
Are you?
Yes.
Really?
I've never run anything by Pam. No.
And
of course she's in the industry.
Yeah.
And she has a master's degree in theater. She's way smart.
So she's
way smarter than me.
Highly skilled.
Yeah, highly skilled.
Highly skilled. But I think that's the part. My wife is not remotely in the industry.
Right.
She does not think about things the way I think about things at all. And so by bouncing it off her, if she laughs, I'm like, that's the whole spectrum. Because I'm here and she's there.
That's really interesting because and we're going to take this further, because I actually, when I teach my classes, one of the things I tell them, because these are first timers, is I go, I don't think it's the best idea to run your ideas by someone you're sleeping with or your coworkers at the smoking square. I said, because that's not an audience. That's not indicative to an audience.
True.
Okay?
True.
So you can get some bad advice, or you can have a good idea and they kind of go, you know.
That's fair.
But I do say this too. I go, if you have a person in your life that is open-minded, very open-minded, and I'm sure this will deal with your wife, that's very open-minded, will take what you say in an open-minded way and go and be positive with it.
Yeah.
You know, not like, well, what the fuck would you say that for? You know what I mean? I mean, like, that's a bunch of, you know, but like, okay, I see where you're headed with that. Either they're struck by it immediately or they're like, I kind of do this.
Here's what I will say with her that I didn't include that would make that fit into your parameters.
What's her name, by the way?
Her name's Nikki.
Okay.
So Nikki she watched the first ever comedy show I ever did. It was a bringer show, and I invited 4 people. I needed to bring 4 people to this bringer show, and I invited 4 people who I respect more than anything, who I know will be honest with me, but I know love me.
Right.
And I said, I need to bring them, and I'm bringing nobody else. And you are the 4 people who I need to be the arbiter of, did you enjoy yourself?
Right.
She was one of those 4 people. I was waiting, nervous as hell, out in the bar, and all of a sudden these 2 young women come out, and they're like, some woman told us to shut up while the comics were on. And I'm like, oh, that was Nikki. That was 100% Nikki, and sure enough, it was. I found out later it was. I was like, that's who she is.
Right.
That's who she is. She's just that person.
Were y'all romantically?
We were not.
Oh, okay,
we were not
friends.
at the time, but we had gotten to know each other. We were friends. We ended up being best friends. We ended up getting together, and we've been together for 15, 16 years now. Nice. It's one of those things that I know she loves me. I know she is honest with me. I know she wants nothing but success for me. And so running it by her, and I know she thinks completely opposite of me.
Right.
So
right.
running it by her just is like throwing it as far as you can just to see how far you can throw it,
Right,
you know?
right,
And you're like,
right.
that's the furthest this will go.
Interesting.
And so she is unique in that respect.
That is
because I know that she wants it to be good.
Right.
And I will tell you this, every special I've ever filmed, every album I've ever recorded, her laughter can be heard on it, and it is great.
Pam's
She's
that
a
way
great
too.
laugher.
Yeah, Pam's that way too. Her laugh stands out.
I know it.
It
She's
stands
come
out
to
in the room.
she's
Yeah.
come to see shows.
Yeah, you
and
know
I'm-
when Pam laughs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hear her laugh.
And I've got
in the
another
showroom.
comic buddy of mine, Scott, that his wife is the same way.
Yeah.
They run stuff by each other. She's totally she's like a cheerleader for him, you know.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of I was watching a sports thing, a golf thing. And they were talking about caddies and how the roles of caddies had changed over the years and and now how much they do for the golfer. The golfer hardly pulls a club or does anything without the caddy.
They're like an F1
and
car.
They go, you know what Jack Nicklaus said about his caddy? He goes, I never asked my caddy what club I should use. I never asked my caddy what shot I should make. He goes, you know what I wanted my caddy to do? I wanted him to carry my bag, and then I wanted him, if I sat there and went, I think I'm gonna hit this 3-wood. I think I can bring this up on the green. Do all right. And you know what I want my caddy to do? I want my caddy to go, if anybody in the world can hit that 3-wood in the middle of that green, it is you, Jack Nicklaus, because you are the greatest that's ever swung a club. He goes, that's what I wanted all day long.
That's interesting.
I just wanted somebody to just to be yes man.
It's
yes.
almost like the evolution of wives from that. Like at that point, your wife would do work and encourage you. You know, she'd take care of the stuff. She'd carry the groceries or whatever, and that's what she would do, and she would encourage you. Now, you know, I know my wife's smarter than me at so much stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm going to let you, you tell me what I should do.
Yeah.
You tell me what I should do. And you know what? I'm going to work out so that I can carry that back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, while he was...
That's right. I'm going to do that.
While he was figuring out how to play golf, these guys are in the gym.
That's right.
They're like, my caddy knows how to play golf. I can just hit the ball well.
I just do it. I just want reinforcement.
My body and my caddy.
I want reinforcement that I am that. Well, you know, Pam, that's kind of neat with me and the opposite. See, when Pam comes in and watches me, which is, once in a blue moon, but if she does, she's there. And I put something on stage that she's never, when I do something new, she's seeing it. She does not have an inkling of what I'm going to do in most cases. So it's neat to hear her laugh come out.
Yeah.
And afterwards, and has your, well, the one I just did tonight, which was cracked us. Me and her and another couple went and had breakfast at this little place in Vermont.
Okay.
Which
is already a great story.
Yes. And so it was like a grocery store that had a breakfast counter, kind of place.
Me hungry right now.
Right. And so we go in. Well, they had a little in their store. They sold liquor too.
Of course.
So, everything.
It's Vermont.
Exactly. So while I'm waiting on my order, I walk over to the liquor part, and they had a bourbon section. I'm a bourbon guy. And, back when I was a young man, there were 4 bourbons. Canadian Club, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and Wild Turkey. I think it was about behind any bar. You know, maybe Seagram 7.
And the one you drank depended on your income status.
Correct.
That's what it was.
Or the bar.
Or the bar.
That was just called bourbon.
Or everybody's
income. Yeah, that's right. And so now, of course, there's I don't know, it must be 100,000 bourbons.
So many bourbons.
Everything, tequila, everything.
Yeah.
Right? So I go, here's how I know there's too many bourbons. I walked in that liquor store, and they had a bourbon up there called Chicken Cock. And I go, you've run out of names.
Yeah.
Because that's not the first name. Nobody... That couldn't have been the first name they came up with.
Yeah.
They came up with other names and went, nope, trademarked, already there, already.
Yeah.
And somebody said Chicken Cock. And I was like, well, how the fuck did that meeting go because you're trying to come up with a name that would make you want to drink it.
Right.
Who wants to drink chicken cock?
Right.
And so I come over there eating breakfast, and I said, and I brought it over, and I went, guys, check this shit out, chicken cock. I said, let me tell you something. I know what their marketing campaign is. I'm telling you right now, it's fucking. I'm gonna hand them $100 million. It'll make your doodle do. And Pam, she spit out her breakfast laughing.
Great. Yeah.
And see, I never do that, but then when she did, because I didn't think of that as a bit to do on stage in any way, and I don't think I would have.
Like, now I know.
But when she nearly spit her fucking coffee out, I went, well, fuck, if she laughed at it. You know,
I mean, you did.
She's a hardcore critic.
Right.
You know.
Did over Vermont brunch what I'm doing on stage tonight.
That's right.
That's exactly what
I
it was.
have to be
I just
in Vermont.
Yeah.
I can't do it at home.
You can't do it at home.
Has your wife ever asked you, have you ever done a bit that involved your relationship, thing, that she said,
Any bit that I did about her early on, I would run by her.
Okay.
And there was only one bit that I did. She had been divorced before we got together, and I did a joke about her divorce, and she's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I won't.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
And
in all the years we've been married, and like I say, I don't run stuff by her. I just do them. And there was only one time, I couldn't even tell you what the bit was because it's so long ago. And I'd been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I came off stage, and she was there, and she came up, and she, at some point, and she didn't make it. It wasn't like she came right to me. But she was like, she goes, I'm not wild about that.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, it's out.
What I've learned with bits about her is that because I know sometimes I just talk about what I observe in relationships as it pertains to men and women, but I talk about it in the context of her and myself.
Right.
Because if I say men and women do this, people are like, men don't do that, women don't do that. But if I go, I do this and my wife does that, they go, we do too.
Of course.
And it's the same joke.
Sure. Exactly right.
Because you just take away the defenses. The point to any beginning of any joke is to open as many doors so as many people can get into the joke as possible.
Right.
And then you go, there's one exit, and I'm going to take you all through it.
I had a friend of mine, a great friend of mine, that called me on that back when I was in college. And it wasn't so. I was so far away from being a comedian. I'd just gotten into acting, but I'd made some statement that was open ended of all of this, do that,
right?
And she goes, you can't make that statement.
That's never a true statement.
That's stupid of you to do
is
that.
Stupid.
There is no all of anything does all of anything.
Absolutely.
And that's where you realize if I put it on me,
right.
I do that.
Because the opposite of men do this and women do that, which is all of, is one man and one woman, and it's my life.
That's right.
And then people go, well, that could be true.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sure.
Yeah, you're basically taking it from everything to two.
That's right.
And that's what it becomes.
That's right.
But I figured out with her that if I had a joke that was really good, that was about her, that I felt like was going to be somehow dismissive then I could just make that a joke about a different thing. I could if it was a really good joke, which by the way, it almost never was. So it's only a couple of times that I'm like, this would work, but I don't feel like this would be.
Yeah, we can make
this
it.
Would be flattering
to
the person I'm
sister.
saying. So let's do. Let's do that.
I don't like her sister. Anyway.
None of us like her sister. We will go after her sister. Anytime there's a villain in a story, it's her sister, and that is the way jokes work.
Yeah, it's no good. Absolutely. That's just the exciting part of this whole process, is just that not knowing.
Yeah.
No matter how long you've been doing this,
there's always that
not knowing.
Yeah.
I love this, and I've said it before. Is that I came backstage when Kevin Nealon was here a while back, not last time, but anyway. So Kevin's sitting there, and John McEwen, who's a good friend of his, who's the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, he's sitting there on my guitar picking, and Kevin's going over his notes, and I went, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, so he's feverishly going over his notes, and I'm like, wait. What are you sweating over there about?
Yeah.
I mean, you really look. He goes, oh, God. He goes, I've got some new stuff. But he goes, Jimmy Fallon wants me to come on the Tonight Show. And he goes, but he wants me to do stand-up. He don't want me to come straight. He wants me to actually go. And he goes, I haven't done that in like 20 years or something.
Really?
I've gone always, like, I got to the point in my career, I just go straight to the couch.
Yeah.
And the stand-up, I'm doing it, but I'm just doing it in conversation.
Right.
I'm not over there doing a thing, and he wants me to do a thing. And he was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
And I thought, how cool is that? I said, here you are. You as rock solid as you could be as a professional, and you're nervous.
Yeah.
And I go, when I tell the new people, I go, when it comes to throwing new shit up and getting in a new environment and all that stuff, that angst is,
It's always there.
And that's the fun. That's the adrenaline.
It's the thrill. It is. One of the great things about starting in New York is that when I was 2 years into comedy, I was at Stand Up New York, and I'm there, and I'm doing a check spot. Dave Attell is headlining, and I'm going to stay and watch Dave Attell because Dave Attell's a genius. And Chris Rock comes in, and there's just this entourage around. There's just people around him, and Dave's like, "What's going on?" He goes, Chris is like, I got to make an appearance on Letterman. I got to run something. I got to see if I can make some jokes work. And so he goes, oh, okay. That was cool. I'm like, I'm just sitting here privy to this conversation between two of the greatest comics I've ever seen on stage. And then I watched Chris Rock, and Chris Rock told a joke. And the audience laughed, and Chris Rock just stood there, and he just looked over the audience, and utter silence, just like this. And he goes, trying to figure out if that was funny laugh or that was a you're Chris Rock laugh. And I was like, that is a man doing an open mic in front of a Saturday crowd.
Yes.
When he has nothing to prove to anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a true worker in this craft.
Right. He's not taken for granted. We can't.
You don't
we
take
can't
anything
take
for
for
granted.
Yeah, you do. You realize that celebrity side that people will accept what you're doing that's not that great because you're you,
right?
You know, and you go, but that's not what I'm looking for here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The good thing coming up is whether or not they laugh is not the final judgment on whether it's a good joke.
Right.
It's just input.
Right.
But the thing about when you're big enough is that whether or not they laugh is also not the final judgment of the joke when they are laughing. Right. It's just input.
Right.
And it's just figuring out that that's just part of the equation.
Well, it is. And that's something that we talk about when you bring a celebrity in that you see.
Yeah.
You go, yes, of course, they can get away with things because it's their people.
Yeah.
It's not a random, like we... For the most part, now you've got a fan base and that's starting to broaden. But and I have people here that know me, but still and yet there's that thing. There's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
And, with them, everybody knows them. And so there's a little bit of that that you might call gratuitous because they are who they are.
Yeah.
But that's okay too. They're just doing. Are we at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Example, last time I brought in Rob Snyder, and I love Rob.
Okay.
Rob had a lot of crazy press coming up to getting here.
Yeah.
And, been pulled off stage early, kicked out of Canada for hate speech, all this stuff. And I'm like, really? I was like, so my staff, my man and Pam, they were a little nervous. They were like, what the fuck's he gonna do?
Right.
And I go, look, guys, everybody that's coming to see Rob is a
coming
Rob
to see Rob.
Snyder
Yeah.
fan. They're like, nobody's just coming off the damn street. There's no left-wing liberals coming to see Rob Snyder. I said,
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
established
just to
very
fuck with his
clearly.
show. I said, I just don't think
Yeah.
it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to spend that money,
Right.
you know,
Right.
just to yell at
Just
Rob.
to yell at him. Yeah.
You son of a, you know.
You don't want to ruin your night
Right.
just to make his
And
night
so, you know, he had all this stuff coming, and I said, so it'll be fine because it's his people.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I was curious. I was going, boy, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in the back of the room. He goes up for the first show, and I'm just sitting there. And he did the podcast afterwards, and we talked about it. But I said, I'm sitting there waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm just sitting there. And the first thing he says is, he goes, well, I'm sure you guys have read some stuff, da, da, da. He goes, you want to hear what got me kicked out of Canada? And everybody's like, yeah. And I mean, there was nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Yeah.
And I said, I kept waiting like I had, you know, Doug Stanhope on stage with a bunch of Republicans. And I'm going, well, when's the part where 50 people get up and leave? You know what I mean? Because I know there's going to be a part where 50 people get up and leave.
Right.
And there was nothing.
Yeah.
There was zero. No one ever left. And so that was where I was expecting, oh, he'll get away with it no matter what it is, because it's his audience and it's Rob. And even if it is a little over the top. But then I go, there wasn't anything.
Yeah.
I felt a little like I was a little bummed. I was waiting. When's the gut punch happening? And there was no gut punch.
Yeah,
it's
weird. I think too many people are triggered just by a mention of a topic.
Yeah,
that's exactly
right.
The thing that got Jimmie Kimmel kicked off. When I heard that he got kicked off, I'm like, what did he say? And I definitely, from what the context, I was like, he probably unfairly got kicked off, but I'm sure he said something that was.
Did you see the clip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
Kimmel.
That is nothing. And it actually was a solid joke landing because he played that video.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I felt like, oh, he's coming out of who he normally is and really going after this person.
And also
I said, no, that's
he made mention of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
But he was just talking about how the GOP was grieving it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's making fun of how a political party is grieving a person and they're weaponizing it. I'm like, that is literally making fun of politics.
Well, it is. And the thing is people go, well, I was highly offended by that. Well, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And maybe it was highly offensive. But I said, you don't need, the FCC doesn't need to be pulling him off the air. His audience will decide.
Right.
Your audience will decide.
Absolutely.
We all know. You can throw out edgy material and go, comics come to me and they go, younger, and they go, I got this. It's kind of, do you think it'll work? And I go, they'll let you know.
Yeah, they'll let you
You'll know.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you love it.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll let you know.
Oh, yeah.
And once they don't like it 4 or 5 times and you love it, I bet you quit fucking doing it. Because you would be getting no positive reinforcement at fucking all.
Yeah.
And let the marketplace decide. Because it will. And I was talking to Dick Smothers when Colbert's thing went down. And I said, you're the last guy, you and Tommy are the last guy that I know of, that a president of the United States called the head of a broadcast network and said, calm these some bitches down.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we're taking them. And I'm going to demand they be pulled. And they were blackballed for many, many years. And I said, I don't know anybody else that's happened to since you guys.
Right.
I said, I think Colbert and now Kimmel should all have you on the damn show, man.
I think that is a topic of conversation.
Be better if Tommy was alive because he's a little more, but Dick's great. Dick will say.
He's a little more straightforward.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hey,
thanks, man. Thanks.
Absolutely, man.
We got a show to do, I guess.
Let's do it. We should probably get out there.